don't talk to me because I won't say a word. Do as you please because I'm done worrying about you. Nurse, I want to talk to you right now, quietly.
Lady Capulet, Juliet is very upset. I need to help her. Is there an issue?
I bound you to demand Juliet to marry Sir Paris. The nuptial shall be in 3 days, no more, no less. I do not want to talk to Juliet, but you can. She trusts and confides in you.
But Lady Capulet, sweet Juliet cannot marry Paris. She shall not.
Oh, 'tis nurse. Why shall not Juliet marry Paris? Lord Capulet demands Juliet to marry in 3 days, or else Lord will never acknowledge thee anymore. 'Tis an order, nurse. Persuade Juliet to marry Paris to cheer her up from Tybalt's death.
But wait, Lady Capulet, your sweet Juliet has a new affection for her paramour.
Love, love, love. She hasn't even met with a man. How can she be in love? She will fall in love with a noble gentleman, Sir Paris. She is 13 and she doesn't understand what love is.
Damn, Juliet's eyes sparkle like shimmering starlight in the water of a deep, cool well, which gazes into her lover's soul.
Who is his fellow? Juliet must leave him behind. She shall marry Sir Paris.
Oh, lady. Oh, but he not more than a Montague.
Montague, our enemy! What is Juliet doing with our fatal enemy? This must be stopped. I need to talk to Lord Capulet about this. Juliet is a disgrace.
Oh, but we can't. I've never seen a Juliet so happy with this gentleman. We cannot ruin her love.
I do not care, nurse. Demand Juliet she is to marry.
Oh, why not just try and get an elephant in bed with a mouse? I do not want to upset or betray the Juliet that I birthed.
Persuade Juliet. Tell her to forget her love and tell her that Paris will mend her broken heart.
I shall not. My apologies, lady.
Then I shall kill Juliet's lover.
No, you can't kill Romeo. Juliet loves him.
The villain Romeo and Montague. Romeo is baleful, that traitor. She has betrayed all of us.
Oh, please, Lady Capulet, swear on your maidenhead not to spill this love.
I will make a deal with you. You make Juliet want to marry Sir Paris, and I shall keep this conversation locked in my closet, and Juliet will never know. You shall tell Juliet to forget about Romeo, as if he were dead, since he does not live in Verona anymore. Tell her she shall enjoy Paris, as he is near her, and Romeo is banished.
But...
Or else, you will be exiled from Verona, and Juliet will be on the street disowned. You shall never see her again, and I shall ruin you.
Fine, my lady, you win. I will try to...
Sir Paris will make a fine husband for Juliet. Now quickly go back in, mend and tell Juliet.
Oh, what shall I do? I must keep a happy face on. I will tell Juliet to please her parents' wishes and marry Sir Paris, but she shall never forgive me. I will have betrayed her trust. I hate hurting Juliet like this, but what else shall I do?
Oh God! Oh nurse, how can this be stopped?
So my void or question that my scene is why does the nurse suddenly change her mind on the romance of Romeo and Juliet after Tybalt dies? So the nurse just tells Juliet to marry Paris and forget Romeo as if he's like dead. And the purpose of my scene is to explain why the nurse hastily changes her mind and tells Juliet just to marry Paris and forget about Romeo since he's dead and Paris is better for you. So some theatrical elements that my scene showed was, it was mainly just long dresses. So the nurse was wearing a long dress and a headscarf. Lady Capulet was wearing a long dress and Juliet was wearing a long dress. I didn't use many props in my scene, mainly because my scene didn't need much props as it was mostly dialogue between Lady Capulet and the nurse. So the effect of my scene as a whole, so my scene alters the audience's understanding is now the audience understands why the nurse did this, and they understand why the nurse just didn't tell Juliet, go with Romeo to Mantua or help Juliet think of a plan. So the content of my new scene includes Lady Capulet threatening the nurse to persuade Juliet to marry. Lady Capulet tells the nurse to inform and tell Juliet to marry even though she doesn't want to. Quote, I think it best you marry with the County. Oh, he's a lovely gentleman. And also in my new scene, Lady Capulet tells the nurse to portray Juliet's lover as dead. Quote, your first is dead, as were as good he were as living here, and you have no use of him. So the Lady Capulet tells the nurse, portray Romeo as dead and as gone, and I won't tell anyone that I know Juliet and Romeo are in love with each other. And the third thing that my new scene contains is Lady Capulet confides in the nurse because she isn't willing to talk to Juliet. Quote, talk to me not, for I'll not speak a word. Do as thou wilt, for I am done with thee. Even though she tells Juliet, I'm done with you, do whatever you want, she still tells the nurse to persuade Juliet to marry Paris because that's what she ultimately wants, and she's too disappointed in Juliet and she has no one else to talk to tell Juliet that she has to marry Paris, so she goes to the nurse. So my new scene addresses the void. Why does the nurse suddenly change her mind? Quote, "You will tell Juliet to forget about Romeo as if he were dead and to marry Paris tomorrow, or else you will be exiled like Romeo and never see Julia again." My scene shows that the nurse was blackmailed into telling Julia to forget and to marry Paris. This helps answer why the nurse just suddenly changes her mind. It's not because she wants her to marry Paris, it's because Lady Capulet does. My scene shows that the nurse had no choice but to change views of Romeo and Juliet, or she would never see Julia again. We all know that the nurse really does love Juliet, but in this particular scene, she has no choice but to obey Lady Capulet's wishes. And another quote that shows I've addressed the void is, quote, "Oh, Lady Capulet, you win. I will tell Juliet to forget Romeo and to marry Paris for the best. But you shall not speak to Juliet that you know of Romeo." This quote addresses the void as the nurse agrees to stop supporting Juliet's love for Romeo and convince her to marry Paris.